Alright guys, in today's video I'm going to be talking or rather explaining the storage plan of container ships. So we'll be talking about how containers are stored on the ships, how are they assigned a position, and how do you understand those positions, right? So in my previous video I talked about the lashing arrangements or the lashing of container cargo, and in today's video we'll talk about the storage plan. This video is a must for those of you who have not been sailing on container ships. You are not aware of the stowage arrangement on container ships, because if you go for your oral examination, the surveyor will definitely ask you about different type of ships, and one of those different types is of course container ships, because they are the most commonly found ships in the trade. So it's a good idea for you to become familiar with this type of ship. All right, so I have sailed mostly in my life on container ships, so I like to assume that I know a little bit about container ships. So let me know at the end of the video if you have any further questions, queries, or concerns about what I have talked about in this video today. So we'll start with the numbering system that is used on container ships, and the numbering system, or rather the stowage system, is based on a system which is the bay, row, and tier system. All right, so that is how the cell position. What is the cell position? The cell position is the position where a container is placed. We call it cell location or cell position. So the cell, a particular cell on a ship where a container is stored, is assigned a bay, row, and tier. All right, so the cell position is to be identified by the three factors. The first one is bay. The bays are counted from the forward part of the ship to the aft part of the ship, starting from bay 0 or bay 1, but it starts from the forward and then all the way to the aft. Right? The row is counted in the direction from the ship's center line to the port side or starboard side. Alright, so center, so if there are two hatch covers on a ship, the space between the two hatch covers is considered row 0, and then on your right, on your starboard side, you may have the odd number of rows like row 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, and on the port side you may have the even number of rows, that is row 2, 4, 6, 8, like that. Alright, of course the system may differ, but most of the ships it's like this. And then you have the tier. The tier is of course the vertical direction from bottom to upward. So the first container on deck that is loaded, or rather under deck, is the first high container. Then you have the second tier container, which is the second high container. Then you have the third tier container, which is the third high container, right? So that is how a particular container's location is described. It's described as per the bay, the row, and the tier. So bay numbers are indicated by odd numbers starting from the forward to aft for 20 feet containers, and for 40 feet containers is the even number. So the odd number bays show 20-foot container bays. So you have bay number 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, 11, 13. They all will be for 20 feet containers. But if a 40 feet container comes in, we don't say bay 1 or bay 3, we say bay 2. So bay 2 is between bay 1 and bay 3, and bay 2 assigns a 40 feet, it's assigned to a 40 feet container. All right, bay 1 and bay 3 is assigned to a 20 feet container. So you may have two 20 feet containers in bay 1 and bay 3, or you may have one 40 feet container in bay 2. All right, so when a pair of 20-footer bays is used as a 40-footer bay, either fixed or convertible, this 40-footer bay is represented by an even number. Alright, so an example is that a 40-footer bay consisting of or converted from a 20-footer bay between bay 5 and bay 7 is number 6. So I've already explained that to you. Alright, so 20-foot containers are also similar. You can see here in the picture, you can see how the bays are shown. You can see bay 1, bay 3, they are all 20-feet containers. Then bay 5, bay 7, bay 9, 11, they are all 20-feet containers. But if you have a 40-feet container, for example, bay 10, you can see that is a 40-feet container. Or if a 40-feet container was loaded on bay 5 and 7, then you will call it bay 6. So a 40-feet container is assigned bay 6 or bay 10. That is the even numbers, and the odd numbers are assigned to the 20-feet containers. That is what the picture here shows, and hope that helps you with the understanding as well. Then we have the row numbering. Now you can see here the rows. The rows actually, like I told you, if there are two hatch covers, now you have to be looking from aft to the forward direction. If you're looking in that direction, I'll show you a picture. I'll show you where I'll explain it to you, where you can see and you will explain the row numbers. Like I've told you, the row numbers are the even numbers normally are on the port side, and the odd numbers are normally on the starboard side. So on the even on the port side, you will have all the row numbers like 2, 4, 6, 8. and on the starboard side you will have the odd numbers like 1, 3, 5, 7, 9 that you can see here on your screen. Now normally these are the ones designated to the hatch cover. So the containers are loaded on the hatch covers and these row numbers are designated to those containers. Now between two hatch covers there is a blank space, there is an empty space, there is a walkway, not a walkway rather, you can't walk on that, but there is a space available between two hatch covers, between two cargo holds. That row is sometimes called row 0. Okay, so we have row 0, 0, and then we have 1, 3, 5, 7, 9 on the starboard side, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 on the port side. And depending on how many rows we have, these days we have bigger ships, bigger breadths, you have number of containers being loaded, you may go more rows, there may be more rows available. All right, and then you have tier numbering. You can see how the tier is numbered here as well. I'll show you another slide where you can see the tier numbers. So the tier numbers, they normally start from 0 to, and that represents a standard height container, which is about 8 feet, right? Or 8 feet 6 inches for 40 feet sometimes as well. All right, so for ordinary height containers, only even numbers are to be used. And when a certain row in a bay lacks the lowest location of the bay, tier numbers don't start from 2 but from a number which represents the equivalent tier of the row. Now you can see here the tier numbers start from 82, then go up to 84, 86. So it's basically the lowest tier is called 82, and then the tier after that is called 84, and the third tier is called 86. So goes on like that. You can go up to 88, 90, 92, depends on how many containers you are loading in every tier. All right, so that is how it goes. I'll show you another slide as well. So this is how it shows. So you can see how you can see how the cell location is provided. You know, the location has gone a bit off way here, but you can see how the tiers are sometimes called 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12 as well. Now this tier numbering is sometimes under deck is different from over deck. So this inside the hold we have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. On deck you have 82, 84, 86. That's because the containers are loaded under deck, and then the hatch cover is placed, and then the containers are loaded over deck as well. Now if we have the same tier system, it will get very confusing for the person who's trying to understand the tier. So that's why you need to have a different tier system for under deck containers to a different tier system from over the deck containers. That's why you have 82, 84, 86, 88 on deck, and then you have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12 for under deck, right? And then of course you have bay and row, just similar to what we talked about before. Now, every officer and crew member should know how to read and understand the schematic plan given by the local cargo planner. Now, the schematic plan will be using a lot of symbols and abbreviations. You have to make yourself very familiar with that. I have provided some of the abbreviations and symbols that are commonly used. And you can see aside from the symbols and abbreviations, you will also have information on container by looking at the number of container. And I've talked about that in a separate video where I've talked about how the container number pretty much tells you the entire story of the container, whether it's a 40 feet, 20 feet, whether it's a reefer, whether it's a high cube container or not. So I won't talk too much about that, but you can see here, these are the symbols that are normally used on a schematic plan or a stowage plan in different ports. And it's a good idea for you to become familiar with that, or rather ask the shipping agent if he shows you a plan like that with symbols like that. And if you're not familiar with it, then ask them what every symbol means and what it basically means. I can just show you an example here that you can see here the what do you call it, the zebra mark or the danger mark, that pattern there that I have highlighted there, that pretty much tells you that it's a high cube container. These are 8 feet 6 inches high. So you can see compared to that, a 8 feet container is just right next to it, and you can see they are much lower in height, whereas the other containers is 8 feet 6 inches. So every high cube container will have that yellow and black diagonal marks painted or rather placed across it like a sticker that tells you these are high cube containers which are 8 feet and 6 inches high. All right, and then of course the location of, we are basically talking about storage here, so I don't want to go into symbols and abbreviations. I have discussed all that in my other video as well. So I'll finally come down to finding the location of cargo, which is based on the bay plan. So the location of cargo is based in the order of bay, row, and then tier number. All right. And so the bay plan will also give the general description of cargo, such as whether it is 40 feet or 20 feet, that you've understood already, isn't it? Then the content of the cargo, whether they are hazardous, dry, or reefer. So you can see here how the bay plan is showing you that there is a dangerous good cargo class 9 or a dangerous good cargo class 3.2, 6.1. You can see here. Okay, this is like a transverse view of the stowage plan. If you're not understanding what is the view of this is a transverse view. So you can see the rows are shown here and the tiers are shown here. The bays of course can't be shown in a transverse view, but it basically shows you the numbers bay 1 and bay, so I don't know what number that is, bay must be bay 19. But yes, so that's a transverse view of a storage plan, just to explain things here. All right, and then what else can I tell you about this? So you can see the port abbreviation is also sometimes given in the storage plan. So it will tell you about the port abbreviation. Here, of course, it's not showing anything. And you can find the storage location, the kind of cargo, the size of the container, whether it's 20 feet, 40 feet, whether it's a high cube. And of course, the port of the destination, the discharge, where it will be discharged is also provided in the storage plan. So I have not been able to show you everything because it becomes very busy otherwise. Thus, this video was only on understanding the bay, row and tier system used in container ships, and that is what my focus was with this video. I don't want to discuss too many things about container ships in one video, otherwise it gets very complicated. I have previously made other videos on container ships and different types of containers, and lashing systems. So please make sure you watch all the videos and have a good understanding of the container ships. If you need any more videos or any more topics in this type of ships, please let me know. I will try my best to make a video on that topic as well. All right, so if you have any questions, any doubts, any queries, concerns, reach out in the comment section. I look forward to your feedback, comments, and all the best with your studies, guys. Keep studying hard. You need to aim for the sky. Good luck and don't take stress. Bye.